This is 1 in 44, a presentation of Anderson Center for Autism. 1 in 44 is a weekly show devoted to autism spectrum disorder.
Good morning and welcome to 1 in 44, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, Chief Development Officer at Anderson Center for Autism. And today I have one of my youngest guests ever, and his mom, but probably one of my favorites so far. His name is Brody Stirk, and his mom is Janna, and they're joining us to talk about a YouTube channel called Brody Educates. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So,
even though it's not really morning anymore.
For all our listeners, it's morning, so we'll just leave it there. But yes, you're giving away our trade secrets there, Brody. It's okay. All right. So, Brody, I referred to you as one of our youngest guests. Can you tell everybody how old you are?
I'm 10 years old.
You're 10 years old. I think that makes you, memory serves, just about one of our youngest guests. And that's very exciting for me. I've always loved working with kids, and I've been working at Anderson, working with people on the autism spectrum for about 15 years in lots of different ways. And I love doing this podcast mostly because it gives me the chance to meet and talk to people doing all sorts of interesting things that are related somehow to autism spectrum disorder. So, Janna, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Brody's mom, Janna Stirk. Very proud.
Right. We're going to skip ages because I think, we're good with that.
Don't you dare.
All right. So we're here to talk today about Brody Educates. And I think if you can, Brody, could you just introduce a little bit and talk about what Brody Educates is?
Well, Brody Educates is my YouTube channel where each video we have a different topic. It can be science, it can be history, it can be pretty much anything. And we try to get all the best of the best facts that, how am I supposed to word this?
It's fine. So it's a science. It's, what do we like to call it? Science with a sense of humor.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about your joke time in a minute.
Yes.
Oh, joke time. Awesome.
So it's it's an educational video series, right? You're trying to teach people things? Okay. Yeah. So let's take us back to the beginning, Brody. Why did you decide to create a YouTube account and develop Brody Educates?
Well, my friend Troy, he had a YouTube channel and I pretty much loved it. So I decided to make my own.
Okay. So you were inspired by Troy. Who is Troy like a YouTube sensation? I keep hearing that.
No, he's a pretty small YouTuber.
He's his best friend. He's my best friend's son.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Brody started to make YouTube videos. It was like talking about our bird. They were just kind of goofy. And I was like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right. And that's when we got the ant farm.
Yeah.
And we decided to do our first video on ants. And then we were glued.
And things went way uphill.
Yeah.
Like up an anthill, kind of. That's my attempt at a terrible joke, Brody. Don't laugh. It's not funny.
We like terrible jokes.
All right. So you had a friend, you saw his kind of small scale YouTube video, you were watching some, and you developed yours. Now, Janna, are you the person who came in with the editing capabilities, or does Brody do that, or do you do it together?
I do all of the editing, and I did not have any capabilities. I've just taught myself on iMovie on my iPhone. So I do dabble in a lot of digital art design. Like I've designed logos. I own my own business and have designed logos for myself and friends and stuff. And so I went on to an app and created the Brody Educates with the music and stuff at the beginning. And then, each time we would do a video, I would notice the flaws, so I'd correct them each time. So we've done about 10 so far. We're a little behind because we've moved into our camper and stuff. And
we got to get another video up.
Yeah, we're doing another video.
Your followers need you to keep the content fresh, of course.
So yes. We just had to have a couple weeks of a break. Because Mom spends like 8 hours editing these things. Well, not 8 hours. Like we'll go over the process, I guess.
Yes, we'll talk about how. I wanna. You said your first video was about ants, right, Brody?
Yeah.
So since then, I'm sure you've done quite a number. And the ones I watched earlier were the one Lake, which obviously has a lot of special meaning for you. And it looks like a beautiful place. And the other one I watched was about autism, which I thought was great. And since I work in the field and I work at a place where we help lots of children and adults also with autism, I thought your information was really accurate and very helpful. And you also talk about yourself a little bit in that video. But out of all the ones you've done, do you have one that was your favorite to do?
To be honest, not really.
You love them all?
I love them all.
Well, that's good. That means that you love what you do. That's a lot of people work their whole lives to try to get there. So good for you. Is there one that was the hardest to do?
I'd say probably the autism one. It was very emotional.
I was kind of thinking for my third video.
Which one?
The Star Sailor.
Star Sailors? That was your hardest?
I was so tired. It was just miserable.
Yeah, we had to do a lot of takes and he was pretty miserable. And I'm like, we're almost done. So, okay, that would have been the hardest because he was yawning the whole time.
Oh, I gotcha. Well, exhaustion, working when you're exhausted can be hard. So, Brody, I noticed when I was watching the two videos that I watched so far, it looked to me like, do you take breaks while you're doing that to kind of reset yourself and like give yourself an ability to take a breath or maybe a drink of water or something in between? Because there's a lot of talking that you do. You're giving people a lot of information.
Yes. Because it's going to be really hard to just make one
full length video.
Yeah.
So we do it in clips. That way he's not overwhelmed trying to remember exactly what he wants to say and how he wants to say it. They're not scripted, but we have notes. So I'll say, okay, the next thing we're going to start. And then I just click it in and out. It makes it so much easier and less stressful for him.
That's great.
Yeah.
So have your friends and other family members watched your videos?
Our whole family, communities, the schools. Yeah, his school webs shared his videos on their website.
I saw that.
And then we did Orleans County Hub with Tom Rivers. He did a real nice write-up about Brody, and then WGRZ did the article, or not the article, the news.
Yeah.
So that was cool. That was really
So what are the people in your life, like whether it's friends or teachers or family members, what do they say to you about the videos? Do they give you feedback about them?
It's usually just saying that it was really good.
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. So 5 stars.
We could just walk past, like at the school or at Walmart or, wherever we are. And people, I loved your video, or I love your videos, Brody. So he's turned into a little local celebrity.
That's great. Celebrity. Is that okay? So do you think you want to keep doing these, Brody? You think you want to keep making them?
What kind of question is that? Of course.
It's a silly question, obviously. So of course you want to keep making them. When I was doing the one you made about autism, my favorite part, I had one line that you said that was my favorite part. And it was when you talked about masking, which I know is a real thing and something that I think was really important. Great that you shared that some people who have autism mask because they feel like they should, or it makes them feel more comfortable, or for any number of reasons. But then you said, but I don't mask. I just am, who I am and myself. And I love that you said that. I thought that probably inspired a lot of other kids and a lot of other families raising a child with autism, because you said it so proudly and so beautifully. It really touched me.
That was my favorite part too. And that was all on his own. He literally, he goes, I show myself. And I was like, oh my God, dude, I was running around the cottage. I was like, you nailed it. And he got so excited when I amp him up, that was my favorite part too. So I'm glad that resonated with you, because that's what we're hoping for.
At the end of the autism one, we were actually crying.
We were so proud of ourselves. We were hugging and crying because we had to get it done that day. And it was just an emotional thing for me to just be like, okay, here it is, kind of exposing. But that was my favorite for sure. Well,
everybody's on their own journey, right? Some people probably feel really uncomfortable talking about the fact that they might be on the autism spectrum. I am always inspired by and in awe of people who talk about it openly, because I think, hopefully it's good for you as an individual person to feel comfortable talking about it and sharing it. But I think also what you don't see immediately, but definitely happens out there, is that other people who may not be as comfortable with it, hear you talking and you serve as an inspiration to them. That is bigger than you may ever realize, but you can enjoy that feeling. So that's really, so thank you for doing that. I think I'm hoping a bunch of Anderson parents and siblings watch your videos after they see this on the podcast and get familiar with you, because I think they'll love you just as much. It's great. No. Can I ask, whose idea was it to do the video on autism?
It was mine. We knew we wanted to eventually. So actually, it was kind of both of ours. We knew we wanted to eventually, but then I knew Autism Awareness Day was coming up, and I was like, you know what? If we're going to do it, it should be on Autism Awareness Day and get it posted that day. And
Hey, would you look at that? It's 144.
Right.
1 in 44.
Perfect.
It is.
That's so cool. I love that you're tuned into that, Brody. That's cool.
And I think my main goal with this channel was, Brody was starting to really realize that he wasn't the same as everybody else, which is a good thing, right, dude?
Yeah.
But he just was starting to feel insecure, and this has helped raise his confidence a lot. And all the kids now, they're just like, oh, that's Brody. And so, and he's making it like he's proud. I'm proud that I'm autistic. It's not a flaw. There's not a flaw there. So that's been my main goal, is just helping him feel better about himself. And then I realized I really like doing research. And so
that's awesome. We're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, let's get a little bit more into some of the maybe unexpected outcomes of getting involved in this, and your hopes for the future with the channel and maybe beyond that. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. This is 1 in 44, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, and we'll be right back.
Alone, our reach is limited. No matter how great our intentions, on our own, we can only stretch so far. But at Rotary, we believe the right group of people working together can make our communities, our world, a better place. Rotary is a worldwide network of community volunteers dedicated to helping people in need. Learn more at Rotary.org. Rotary, humanity in motion.
And now, 1 in 44 continues on 100.7 WHUD. This is a weekly community affairs program presented by the Anderson Center for Autism.
Welcome back to 1 in 44, a weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, Chief Development Officer at Anderson Center for Autism. And today I'm speaking with Brody Stirk and his mom, Janna Stirk, of Brody Educates, the incredibly cool YouTube channel. And Brody and Janna were giving us some background on different topics and the editing process and, sort of how it all came to be. Before we get into too much more really quick, I realize we should probably do a shout out so people know where to find you. Do you have is there a website or social media or just the YouTube channel that you want to put out there so people can make sure they get the name right?
You can find links to the video on my mom's Facebook.
My Facebook is public, so Janna Stirk. And then you literally search Brody Educates on YouTube, and it'll bring you there. And what's even funnier is we have business cards. I want to see if I have one here with a QR code on the back, like with his Brody Educates logo. And then on the back, there's a QR code, and you can scan it, and it takes you right to the channel.
Yeah,
nice. And just to spell your last name, if it's public, then people need to be able to search Janna, which is Janna, Stirk, Stirk, on Facebook.
Yep, that's my Facebook. And then Brody Educates is the actual name.
Absolutely. And I pulled that right up on YouTube this morning. So it's very easy to find. And you'll see, Brody, your face. Now, when were you 10 when you started this, or does this go back a couple years?
I was 9 when I started this.
You were 9 when you started.
We literally just started it 6 months ago.
Actually, 4.
4? Oh, was it February? Okay. Yeah, we've only been doing it for like 4 or 5 months.
And you've already got 10 videos done?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
We try our best to do it weekly, kind of just like 1 in 44.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks for the shout out, Brody. I think you're sharing a lot of really important information, and we talked for a while about the one that you did specifically about autism, which is full of really good facts. And I appreciate that it was really relevant current facts. You can find a lot of videos these days that are a little older and they have statistics that are a little bit out of date. So I appreciate that your research was good, and the way you shared it with your enthusiasm and sincerity, as well as the graphics and the editing your mom did was really, really very easy to understand. But outside of the autism one, can you name, I know you did one on Cuca Lake, you did one on, did you say sailing or star sailing?
We did it on space travel, but we did funny names like Ants in My Pants was the ant, and Star Sailors, because that's what is Star Sailors? The word astronaut means star sailor.
Well, astronaut means sailor of the stars.
I did not know that. Thank you.
Yep.
I never even stopped to think about what the word astronaut would mean.
Of the universe.
Yeah. Cosmonauts, which is the Russian term, they're sailor of the universe.
Ooh, very cool. Yeah. I see. So everybody needs to go to Brody Educates because you're going to learn a lot. But while we have you on the show today, can you give us the topics of at least a few other ones just to give us some teasers?
Hey, I'll give you them all.
All right, go for it. Go for it.
Ants, octopuses, space travel, the Black Mamba, Glenn Curtis.
The Glenn Curtis Museum, yep.
Of course, Cuca Lake and autism, grizzly bears, Ford Park.
And up next, bees.
Yep, that's going to be our newest.
Bees are big right now. Did you hear about No Mow May? Did you hear about this?
No mow. Like
no mow May is something that at least I heard about down in my neighborhood, where people didn't mow their lawns, or they tried not to, for the month of May, to allow things to grow so that the bees could pollinate. Kind of an interesting. So there's a fun fact for you if you want that.
You know what else is a fun fact? We just planted a bunch of plants that are like bee plants, like wildflowers. Yeah. We have like 2 or 3 different ones, and they're just very now cool. Sprouting.
So
now that I've heard that, thank you very much. I'm going. If you excuse me, I'm going to destroy the lawnmower.
I think some people were afraid that was going to happen, but my friend, unfortunately, is now June. So you missed No Mow May, yes. But maybe next year. So that's cool. I noticed that a lot of your topics are about animals. Brody, is that a passion of yours?
Yeah, animal. We love animals.
Do you have pets?
Yes, we have quite a few. We have our 3 birds, Kiwi, Zeke, and Jasper. Zeke is my mom's, and he's a conure, and he's my mom's, and he's kind of a jerk.
It's okay. And then we have 3 dogs and a bunny and a fish.
And there's also Kiwi, my cockatiel. She's sweet.
She's so sweet.
And then Jasper, my dad's Indian ringneck.
Wow. Do they talk? Are they loud birds, Brody? Do they make a lot of noise?
Yes.
Zeke does.
Zeke definitely does. Zeke squawks and he talks. He says, "What are you doing?" and "Hi" and "coming." And then Kiwi, she just says, "Woo, woo," and tap dances on the floor of her cage. It's very cute.
Nice.
Yeah. And I love Kiwi so freaking much.
Okay, boy.
Yes. Well, that as you should. That's cool. So you take your love of animals that's in real life in your own family, and then you also do some research and teach people about other animals. Yeah. I love that. I think it always is better when you get to educate people about things that you care about. And that's one of the cool things about you, Brody, that I picked up on in your videos, is that it's not just that you're giving good information that's interesting. It's also your way that you give it, because you're so enthusiastic about what you're talking about. You're a really, really good presenter and performer, I would say. So one of the reasons that I found it really compelling to keep watching your videos is because I like you and somebody who's very likable. So great job on that.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody has their flaws. I gotta say, if for visual learners, I'm not sure if my channel is the best for visual learners. We do have those little diagrams and stuff, like we do have some like pictures and stuff like that, but mainly it's just me talking.
I think we have a good balance. I mix in quite a bit. I try to, because I actually think about that I'm more of a visual learner too. So that's why I find all the clips and stuff and add it.
I think that's cool that you both think about that, and you think about it from the perspective of what is going to be easiest and most comfortable and interesting for your viewers. Sometimes if you get too caught up in what you're presenting and you don't think about your audience, all of a sudden the audience gets a little smaller.
Yeah.
So I do have, I guess I have a question about any ideas beyond the bees, which is coming next. Is there some big topic or something in the future that you're hoping to do that you haven't gotten to yet?
We've been having quite a few ideas. Chocolate.
Ooh.
Yeah, chocolate I thought would be a cool one. But as far as any, big, important topics, we need a little bit of time to just kind of do some fun ones. We want to do elephants. We want to do how chocolate is made because those pods are like cool. I was watching a video on how they're like everybody eats chocolate. You don't even realize like where it actually comes from in the process. So I don't think he's very into climate and the oceans, and he wants to, we want to get into some of that stuff, that important stuff, pollution and, global warming and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. But, I've been thinking about this idea that we could also include kinetic learners, or that was at least what I think they're called. People who learn by doing it. Mm-hmm. I sometimes feel like at the end of the video we sometimes could give them a little activity to do.
Oh, that's smart.
That's a cool idea.
All three types of learners can.
Boom. Genius.
That's a great idea. I actually just interviewed on this weeks ago a man who's a magician. He's a professional magician, and he has kids who are working on like fine motor skills with an occupational therapist, but he helps them by way of teaching them magic. So it's kind of like, it reminds me of what you just said, that sometimes you take the information and you make it fun. And that's, to me, it's kind of hands-on learning, which is very hard to do when you're in the world of doing podcasts and Zoom calls and things like that. But if you left somebody with an activity, I think that's a great idea. All right. You also said, though, you're going to balance the serious topics with the more fun ones, which brings me, of course, to joke time. Tell me about the jokes. I love that you embed jokes a couple times in the videos, and they're hilarious. I laughed out loud. So who comes up with the jokes, and is that one of your favorite parts to do?
Well, sometimes my sister.
Ava?
Yeah.
Yep. Or I look up, like, if it's a topic, I'll look up funny jokes about this, or we'll tweak them a little bit. But the joke time, how it goes, joke time, that's my voice, fast forwarded. And I just made that little video, and I thought the younger kids who maybe didn't digest all the information.
Wait, that's your voice?
Yeah. I told you that.
That's right. That's what my kids say about me on the radio too. They're like, that's
I thought that some of the younger kids who maybe don't fully understand everything he's talking about would be excited, or like the joke time part. And then I found out that the little kids love it. Like my one of my other best friend's son, Jace, he's like, oh, joke time, like it's coming up. He's 7, and I'm like, and I didn't even really think about it. So yeah, we like corny, punny jokes. And
I'm an adult, and I liked them too. I thought I thought they added a little something unexpected. So I guess we're almost out of time, but would either of you like to tell one of the jokes, right? Close out. Go ahead,
a question
Brody.
For you.
Oh, a question for me? Sure.
What was your favorite joke time?
I think I liked the I liked the fish one without the eyes.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Fish without the eyes.
He wants to hear one of the jokes.
Oh yes, my favorite was the pelican one.
Go for it.
You forget
it? Remember it?
A wonderful bird of the pelican, or the pelican. Who can hold more than a deli can?
His beak.
I just don't know how the heck he can.
Yeah. His beak. I can't even say it. He loved that one.
Yeah, it's
the pelican video is a fun video. You should check that one out too.
I think we should remind everybody, let's check out Brody Educates on YouTube. You can search it on the YouTube channels. You can check out the links for that through Janna Stirk's Facebook page. That's JANNA STIRK on Facebook. And Brody Stirk and Janna Stirk, thank you so much for being on the show today. I really, honestly, I think everybody should just go watch a bunch of Brody Educates videos, follow them, subscribe them. You'll see the people are liking them, like them. Let's keep Brody's enthusiasm for this going strong, and Janna's enthusiasm for the hours of editing going strong. And you'll learn a lot like I did today. So thanks to you both for being on the show and for doing what you're you're doing. It's really awesome.
Thank you so much for having us. What do you say?
Thank you.
He's so excited.
Thank you, Brody. Thank you, Janna. This is 1 in 44, the weekly talk show on topics related to autism spectrum disorder. I'm your host, Eliza Bozensky, and remember, Anderson cares.
You've been listening to 1 in 44, a weekly presentation of the Anderson Center for Autism. Join us for another edition of the show at this time next weekend.